Hi, I'm Matt Goodall. I work as an advisor for the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust here in Wales, and I'm out on a farm near Trefnant in Denbighshire in North Wales today, and typically it's just started raining as I've turned the camera on. But so I'm out on a dairy farm today, which typically looks like this across North Wales. And whilst that pasture is essential for our livestock, what it doesn't do is it doesn't provide much seed for our farmland birds through the winter. And what we're finding is that our farmland birds in Wales and across the UK are declining, and the overwinter mortality is one of the reasons that's driving that decline. So what we've got here behind me as part of this project is an absolutely fantastic wild bird seed mix that's been sown this summer. And if I just show you what's in here, you can see all the kind of green behind me is the leaves of kale and utopia, things like that. So they're not actually providing seed this year, but they're providing a lot of warmth. So they're warming that habitat up. That's providing, a 3D habitat, which is absolutely fantastic for these birds to kind of get away from the elements through the winter. And as I said, it's warmer, so you get overwintering insects in there as well and things like that. But here, some of this stuff that you can see here, I can't turn my camera around, so I'm just going to have to show you. This is oil radish. This is gold of pleasure. There is some mustard here. I can't point properly here behind me. So this is just thick throughout with seeds, and those seeds are going to feed these farmland birds through the winter. And just while I've been stood here, and with me talking now, I've probably scared them off. But in this tree behind me here was a flock of linnets before, and they were just flitting back and forth into this cover crop and chattering away as they did it, and it's absolutely fantastic to see and hear. We've seen chaffinches knocking about as well. There's loads of blackbirds in here. There's all sorts of things, and this is going to be supporting them through the winter. So they're well fed through the winter. They're going to better survive the winter. They're going to survive and go into the breeding season in better condition, and hopefully do a better job when it comes to breeding season. So if this is done for a number of years, you can actually build up your local population of farmland songbirds. So we know that this works. Over this side, behind me here, this is what I'm out today doing. I've just installed this today. This is a farmland feeder, farmland bird feeder, and what that's going to do is that's going to provide supplementary feed just like you would in your garden. And that's going to make sure that the seed in this cover crop lasts a bit longer, so lasts more into the winter, but also when it does eventually become depleted, they've got the supplementary feed supplied in that bucket all the way through the hungry gap, which is typically from the 1st of December till the end of April, so they're fed all the way through, and that's going to make a huge difference to this area. So what this project is all about really is demonstrating this. People know about cover crops and wild bird seed mixes, but in terms of take-up within the agri-environment schemes in Wales, it's been really low. So we want Welsh Government to be aware of this. We want Welsh Government to really incentivise farmers through the sustainable farming scheme in the future, so that they're actually putting in things like this on their farms. And by incentivise, I mean paid for properly, but also there needs to be some form of flexibility in here. Now this, I don't think I mentioned it before, but this is an organic dairy farm. And to be able to establish this cover crop on this organic dairy farm shows that you can do it pretty much anywhere. The other farm in the project is a traditional Welsh hill sheep farm. So we're doing it on poorer soils at altitude as well, and we're trying to demonstrate that you can do this anywhere, and both these crops are doing fantastically well. But this one in particular, this one's a biennial crop. So this will last for 2 years, so you've got half the establishment cost, or a 1 year's establishment cost for 2 years worth of crop. And within Glassdeer, you weren't able to do that. Glassdeer had a recommendation or a stipulation that it had to be 80% cereals, and that to me is an annual crop. Whereas this is going to be providing fantastic cover all through next year. So as I said, we've had Phacelia within this crop as well. The Phacelia has been providing for pollinators in the lead up to this winter, so through the summer when it was planted, in the lead up to this winter. And then next year all of this kale is going to be flowering, so that's fantastic for insects. This whole crop is going to be thronging with insects next year, so all these birds that we're trying to get through the winter in better condition to breed will then have a source of insects to feed their chicks. And that's exactly what they need as well. And then that kale in the second year is going to be providing the seed through the winter. So it's doing a fantastic job. And there used to be a lot of fuss made about overwinter stubbles and how good they were for farmland birds, but actually something like this provides about 10 times more benefit in the same area as a overwinter stubble does. So this is in a much more efficient way of providing for biodiversity and nature. We know that we've got to have our pasture fields, we've got to produce livestock, and we need a profitable, productive farming system. So we need to find the most efficient way of delivering for our farmland birds, and this is it. This is absolutely fantastic.